Hello everyone, FPL Raptor here and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. In today's video we have my Game Week 33 team selection, and the reason for it being so soon is that the Game Week 33 deadline is on Tuesday. So it's a quick turnaround for 33 and then a quick turnaround again for double Game Week 34. If you are enjoying the content here on this channel, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. But without further ado, let's jump into it. So very briefly before we move on to Game Week 33, quick review of Game Week 32, and it did go very well for me. I scored 75 points and I am now very, very close to breaking back into the top 10k. It's been a rough sort of post-World Cup for me. I had quite a few red arrows in a row, but I'm starting to get the rhythm back and hopefully at the right point of the season to push on to the top 10k and who knows, potentially from there. There was a little bit of jam, a little bit of luck in this one. However, there was some logic behind it as well. So Harry Souttar, the reason that I picked him, again, is because Wolves concede a lot of opportunities from set pieces, and I didn't particularly like any of the other third defenders anyway, and he's actually got quite a lot of goal threat. He was actually dropped, so he didn't play any minutes. And luckily, I did have Fabian Schär to come on, who got a double assist, and despite losing the clean sheet, picked up 8 points. So I'll admit there's a bit of jam there, but I did still pick Fabian Schär. I could have picked anyone in that spot. I did still have to pick him as my first sub for the defenders. So I'm happy with it, but yeah, I will admit there's a little bit of jam there. Let me know down below in the comments if you got any jam this week. Outside of that, there were a few really good picks. Sam Johnston, who was the goalkeeper that was the template on the free hit, absolutely delivered. Trent and Trippier, a little bit disappointing. Trent has now got his third assist in 2 weeks, and he's actually in my team, which we'll discuss in a second. So I'm very happy having him moving forward. The midfield four mainly delivered. Martinelli, Salah, and Saka all did very well. I'm delighted that Saka did well, because I told a lot of people to bring Saka in, and I just had a very good feeling that at home Saka would deliver, and he did get a 13-pointer, so I'm very, very happy with that. Gakpo was the one that I wasn't sure on. I was sort of going between Gakpo, do I go for Jota, do I go for Virgil van Dijk? I'll be honest though, most of the time I was on Gakpo, but I knew that his minutes weren't great, and I also knew that his attacking numbers have been relatively poor all season. In fact, his numbers are very similar to Trent, so I knew it was a bit of a risk, but I just liked all of the other forwards, and I had that spare slot in the midfield, and I wanted 3 Liverpool players, so that's why I picked Gakpo. He only got 1 point. And then the forwards, largely disappointing. Watkins 2 points, Jesus 2 points. Both of them could have scored. Jesus in particular accumulated like a 1.3 XG in that game. He was just absolutely shocking. His finishing is so bad consistently. So very, very frustrating. He could have come away with 15, 20 points on another day. And then the big one, the absolute legend himself, Ivan Toney. I did say that I fancied Brentford to do one over on Villa, and I spoke about that all week, that I don't know why. I just had this feeling that Brentford were going to beat Villa. It's why I didn't pick Alex Moreno, and it's why I picked Toney. And again, if you've watched my videos last week, you'll remember that I said that I don't particularly like Watkins as an option this week. I'm only picking him because his data's been so strong recently. I just had a bit of a feeling, and it doesn't always work. A lot of the time, I'll hold my hands up. A lot of the time, I get it wrong. But on this occasion, it was right, and Toney did pick up a 9-pointer. So that was the way that the team did. It wasn't a massive green arrow. I'm not saying it was the best free hit in the world, but it was definitely a success. And as I said, just before we move on to 33, the benefit of free hit 32 wasn't in Game Week 32. The benefit of free hitting in 32 was allowing you to hold the best team up to free hit 32, and then for double Game Week 34 and double Game Week 37 as well. So I feel like despite the fact that 32 went amazingly well, the real benefit is still yet to come, in that I can hold all of the strong players that I wanted to the next couple of double game weeks. So that was the way the team did. Let me know down below in the comments, how many points did you score? Also, let me know if it was on a free hit or whether you just did that with your normal team. Let's now move on to Game Week 33. So looking ahead to Game Week 33, I currently have 1 free transfer and 0.2 million in the bank. So I've not got a ton of wiggle room, and we'll discuss the possible transfers that I could make this week. Most of them involve either rolling, which of course is a possibility, or a -4. I'm not looking at a ton of transfers in my team which require 1 free transfer. In fact, there's only 1 possibility, which we'll discuss when we move on to the forwards section. So starting with the defense and the goalkeepers, I've got Kepa and Raya playing against each other. If you were to ask me to predict this game right now, I would say 1-1, 2-2, something like that. So I'm probably not expecting any clean sheets here, but I feel like when it's quite a close one, I'll probably back the defence with the slightly better defensive data over the long term, which is Chelsea, and also the team playing at home. So at the moment, Kepa's just getting the nod ahead of Raya. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely happy with my goalkeeper situation. So I feel like moving towards Game Week 34, there is the possibility that I make a goalkeeper transfer. I am looking at Ederson. I know, a bit of a sadist, continuing to pick Ederson, but he does double in 34 and 37, and I don't see a ton of options that I want outside of that. Maybe go for an Alisson instead, but we'll discuss that moving into 34. For this week, I'm perfectly happy playing Kepa, and I'll just see what happens there. The back three is actually pretty decent. We've got Trippier against Everton away, and of course, I do have on my bench, if you have a look, I've got Botman against Everton away too. I think this is a good fixture, and I would quite like to play Botman this week, to be honest, which I need to have a little bit of a think about, but definitely happy having Trippier. I know Trippier hasn't delivered a ton of points recently, but his data is still really good going forward. He's still sitting at about a 0.4 XGI. Across the season, he has the second best data for underlying data out of all of the defenders, only behind Trent. So he's very, very attacking. Newcastle is still a great defence. And whilst he hasn't delivered that many points recently, I still feel like Trippier is an excellent option. So very, very happy to have him in the defence. I have Trent as well. As I said in the sort of review section, Trent's now had 3 assists in 2 weeks. In this new role that he's playing, I don't think Liverpool necessarily look much better defensively, but Trent looks even more attacking, and he's getting into some really, really good positions, and he's creating chances as well. So I'm really, really happy having Trent. And I think, again, going into double game week 34, a lot of people will be trying to work out how to get Trent into their team. So I'm very happy that I've already got him in place, and I can use the transfers elsewhere to attack some other players. So very happy having Trent. I don't think this is the best fixture. At the moment, West Ham are improving week on week. They actually are starting to get back into a nice run of form. So this is probably not the time to be playing West Ham, and I'm probably not expecting a clean sheet, but hopefully can pick up another assist or potentially even a goal. And then the third and final defender in the starting 11 is Estepinian. I actually don't think this is a great fixture either. Brighton have been okay defensively, but we know how good Forest are at home, and they need to win this game. I don't necessarily expect them to win. Brighton have been absolutely excellent recently, but I do expect them to go all out, and they're going to have to score goals. They're playing at home. They're fighting for their survival. I don't think Brighton necessarily keep a clean sheet here. And Estepinian hasn't been as attacking as I would potentially want. He's not been terrible, but his data's not necessarily like the likes of Trippier and Trent. So I'm looking at that and thinking, I've got Estepinian in the starting 11. I know Nottingham Forest looks good on paper, but is Botman potentially the right player to start there and maybe bench Estepinian? So I'm thinking about that. I'd love to know down below in the comments, would you start Estepinian or would you start Botman? If it was Fabian Schär, it'd be an easy decision because Fabian Schär's attacking data is so good, but Botman's just got no real attacking threat. So it's basically a potential 6-pointer from Botman, or I'm hoping on banking Estepinian, getting an attacking return and maybe getting a clean sheet. But I feel like Botman has the higher chance for points this week, so maybe he's the play there. And then the fifth and final defender is Luke Shaw. I'm happy having Luke Shaw going into double game week 34. He's probably my 5th choice defender this week, though, against Spurs away. So that's the defence. Let's move on to the midfield. So moving on to the midfield, and I've got my double Manchester United and double Brighton at the moment, and Grealish first bench. I'll sort of discuss everyone in its entirety. McAllister and Matoma obviously doubling 34, 36, and 37. Brighton have 3 remaining doubles this season. I'm perfectly happy having them both against Nottingham Forest. The issue that I've got with McAllister is Veltman was actually on the bench for the Manchester United-Brighton game. If Veltman's back and starting, McAllister, I think, anyway, is not 100% sure, I think will go back into the 10 role, and I think it'll be Caicedo and Gross as the 2 CDMs once again. So if Veltman is preferred at right back to potentially someone like a Gross at right back, and he goes back into the starting 11, we might get McAllister back at number 10, in which case I still think he's the best Brighton asset. However, if they prefer to go with the lineup that they've got at the moment, where Gross sits in at right back, and it's actually McAllister and Caicedo as the defensive midfielders, then I would probably sell McAllister in game week 34. I know he's got penalties. He's just got no open play goal threat or attacking threat, really, when he's playing at CDM. Across the season, before he moved to the number 10 role, he was sitting at about a 0.25, 0.3 expected goal involvement, which is just really, really poor. You're looking at an expected goal involvement every 3 and a bit games. So for me, I don't want McAllister playing as a defensive midfielder. So I need to assess that in game week 33. I'm going to give him game week 33. I'm not going to sell him now, but I need to assess that. And if it looks like he's going to continue to play in defensive midfield, I'll probably use McAllister as my route to Salah potentially in game week 34. So that's what I'm thinking around there. Matoma continues to be a good option. His data still isn't that great, but he passes the eye test. He's great at converting chances. I'm perfectly happy holding Matoma. Then I've got my 2 Manchester United boys. Man United just aren't performing fantastically at the moment, due to injuries mainly. But now that Rashford's back fit, Fernandes is obviously playing very well at the moment. I think now we've got Eriksen and Casemiro fit as well. Hopefully Fernandes will play a more attacking role. I'm actually happy to have the 2 of them. The issue is I'm recording this after the Manchester United-Brighton game, and Fernandes did pick up a little bit of a knock. He was seen ice in his leg. I think it was an impact injury. It's one of those unfortunate ones. Because of the tight turnaround, I can't wait to find out about Bruno Fernandes. Unless he's confirmed out for a long time, I'll keep him. Even if he's confirmed out for 33 against Spurs, I'll just play Grealish against Arsenal at home. I've got no issue there. It's only if I know for a fact he's out for 34, I'll sell him. And again, I would probably be looking to move to Salah. My issue with doing that this week is that I've got 0.2 in the bank. So I would have to make 2 transfers this week to fund it, which means taking a hit. So I'm still thinking about whether I want to do that or not. But ideally, I would like to keep Fernandes. I think Fernandes has been playing exceptionally well in recent weeks. And if he gets a more attacking role, I think he'll start to deliver some FPL points. So Rashford, Fernandes, fine for now. Not the best fixture this week. But again, Spurs haven't been great recently. They just got battered 6-1. Apologies, Spurs fans, for laughing. But they are struggling at the moment. So it's not a terrible fixture. I'm happy with them for now. I'll keep an eye on Fernandes' injury, and I'll let you know in the Tuesday deadline stream what I currently plan with doing. I may well think about starting Grealish anyway, because Grealish has been in really good form. City are playing very, very well, and Arsenal look very shaky at the back, especially on that right-hand side where Holding and Ben White are. Grealish could have a field day against Arsenal, so there's that temptation there as well. As I said with the defence, let me know down below, would you start Grealish? And if so, would you bench McAllister or Fernandes? I don't think anyone would bench Rashford or Matoma, but I would love to know, would you get Grealish into the starting 11? So moving on to the forwards, we'll start with Erling Haaland. He's going to have my armband. I know he's not got the best fixture here against Arsenal at home, but it is a home fixture at the Etihad, and it is Erling Haaland as well. His data's so good. City are so good. And I feel like City are just starting now to get on a run where they just look unstoppable. I think that City, and this is famous last words, I think City will win this game. I say comfortably. I think they will win this game, and I don't think it'll be a massive issue for them. I hope Arsenal prove me wrong and it's an amazing game, and I hope that Arsenal push them to the end, but I don't think that's going to be the case personally. I think that City look really comfortable from here on out. Again, if Arsenal win this game, then it all of a sudden looks really, really good for Arsenal. But the fact that it's at the Etihad and the fact that City are playing as well as they are, I think for me, I want to captain Erling Haaland this week. I've got Harry Kane. I'd say Watkins and Kane are probably the 2 players that are on the chopping block for me next week. The reason for that is Kane has Liverpool, Watkins has Manchester United. They're not particularly great fixtures next week, and they don't double. And actually, they have no remaining doubles this season, Spurs and Villa. So I'm looking at both of them and thinking, when I want to get Salah into my team next week, which I probably do, or even if it's Diogo Jota, however I want to do that, I'm probably going to have to sell one or both of Watkins and Kane. And I don't necessarily mind that. They've both been very, very consistent and reliable for me, but you don't keep players in just because they've got you points in the past. And I feel like there are better options moving forward, and I want to shift some of those funds into the midfield to probably allow me to get Salah. Which one I sell, I'm not entirely sure yet. I could sell Kane, I could sell Watkins. I feel like Watkins is at a really nice price point, but I also like the idea of downgrading Watkins to someone like a Sam Greenwood, putting that person third sub, and then rocking a 3-5-2 from here on out. Because as you can see, I've got Grealish on my bench. Next week, when it's game week 34, I'll probably only be playing with 1 striker. I don't think you need 3 strikers from here on out. So I am tempted to just shift some of those funds into the midfield, play with 2 or 1 striker each week, and then maybe downgrade Watkins. The other option is just the more straightforward one, which is Kane down to someone like an Isak, potentially, ahead of their double game week in 36, and then upgrade one of McAllister or Fernandes to Salah. So I've got a few options in there, but Kane and Watkins are definitely on the chopping block, probably in game week 34. I don't feel like I need to rush the transfer this week to do it. The other option I've got, if I don't want to move to Salah, because let's say I'm happy with Rashford, McAllister, Fernandes, Matoma, and Grealish. Let's say I don't want to sell any of those 5, is I could just move for Jota this week. So this week, I could do Kane to Jota. That would obviously give me another doubler in game week 34, and it would allow me to downgrade the funds from Kane. And I suppose it would give me the option then to do Fernandes to Salah in 1 move next week if I decide I want to do that. So the only transfer that I'm considering this week, if I'm going to make 1 transfer, is probably Kane to Jota. I just don't know if I'm trusting that Jota's going to continue to get minutes every single week. I know he's performing well at the moment, but Darwin is sat there waiting. Firmino when he's back as well. They've got Diaz. I feel like they've just got Gakpo as well, of course. They've got so many options to play in that front line that I'm not 100% sure that Jota's going to get enough minutes to warrant that move. So that's the decision I'm with at the moment. That is the starting 11. I am happy with it. It's not a perfect team on paper, but you have these weeks in FPL where your team's not perfect. I'm already looking ahead to game week 34. And I actually have 10 double game week players for game week 34. And I'll have 2 free transfers if I don't make a move this week. So the team's in a really strong position. Let's actually take a look at game week 34 now and maybe beyond and look at some of the potential transfer plans for future weeks. So if I don't make a move for game week 33, that's of course how the team will look going into 33. Maybe roll a transfer. Moving into game week 34, though, I'm in a very strong position and not necessarily massive amount to use those transfers on, other than just to replace doublers with other doublers. Because when I look at the starting 11, I've got 9 double. I thought I had 10. I have 9 double game week players this week, plus Raya against Forest at home and Trippier against Southampton at home. If I didn't make a move, I would be very, very happy with that team. The issue is I would quite like a Liverpool attacker. So I've got a couple of options here. I can try and get Salah into the team by selling one of Kane or Watkins, or I can do one of Kane and Watkins to Jota. The reason I prefer the Salah route is twofold. Number one, I think Salah is more nailed, and that is absolutely massive, especially in double game weeks. I think Salah will get 180 minutes, whereas I wouldn't be surprised to see Jota only getting potentially even 90, like a 70 minutes and then a 20 minutes. So that worries me. And also, if I do Kane or Watkins to Jota, I have to bench Trippier, which I don't particularly want to do. I think Southampton at home for Trippier could be a monster score. So for that reason, I'm looking at the moment and thinking, I want to get Salah in. So I'm not going to sell Grealish, I'm not going to sell Rashford, and I'm not going to sell Matoma. Those three for me are not going to be sold. So then I'm looking at it's either McAllister or Fernandes. Really, this comes down to what happens in 33 and what we think will happen in 34. If we think Fernandes might play a deeper role, or if Fernandes is injured, well, then that makes it an easy transfer. If McAllister looks like he'll continue to play a deeper role, then again, it's nice and easy. If Fernandes is fine and he plays advanced, and then I've got McAllister that starts to go back into the 10 role, I'm then in a tricky position, because if I want Salah then, I'm going to have to sell a really good asset, in which case I might not end up getting Salah. So I can't tell you exactly what I would do at the moment. If I do want to get Salah in and I end up having to sacrifice McAllister, that's the most difficult one for me to do, because if I do Watkins to Greenwood, I don't have enough to do the McAllister move, right? So if I want to get Salah in for McAllister, I have to shift Kane. Whereas if I want to do Fernandes to Salah, then I can do Watkins to Greenwood again, who would become my third sub, and then I can then do it in for Fernandes that way. So I can get Salah and Kane and Haaland and Trent and Rashford and Grealish, all of these players into a team, and still keep a relatively strong first and second sub. Or I could just sell Kane, like I said, and it would allow me some funds moving forward as well. But that would probably be the way I would do it if I end up selling Fernandes, something like that. But I'm really not necessarily sure that I want to sell Fernandes. Going through into future game weeks as well, the team is looking super strong. We now know, of course, game week 36 is a double for both Brighton and Newcastle. At the moment, I've got triple Brighton, which I'm really happy with, and I've got double Newcastle. I will almost definitely be looking to get Isak. Just worth noting, by the way, game week 36 is going to be a massive benching headache. If you've looked ahead already, it's absolutely painful. So I'm just looking at all of this here. I've got Greenwood now on my bench if I do this, which would be one player that isn't going to score you points. But most people will have a very, very, very strong bench. Like, I'm forced here to probably end up benching Trent, Shaw, and Raya. So it's not a particularly nice week that week. And then in 37, we, of course, have double game weeks for Brighton, Man United, Chelsea, and City as well. So I will have tons of double game week players for that too. So I'm looking ahead to all of these future weeks. I think the team is really, really well set up. All I need to start thinking ahead to, not necessarily right now, is in 34, what do I want to do? Do I want Salah in? If so, is it Bruno or is it McAllister that's going to go? And then also, do I potentially want to make a goalkeeper transfer? I probably won't end up doing so. If I do, it's probably going to be Kepa to Alisson or Kepa to Ederson is probably the two. And I don't particularly like Alisson or Ederson. They don't make a ton of saves. But those are the possibilities for game week 34 and beyond. For 33, the plan is currently to roll. I suppose I could be convinced to do a -4 to bring in Jota, but it's probably unlikely. So guys, there you have it. That is my Game Week 33 team selection. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please do drop a like. It really helps to support the channel. And also make sure to subscribe as well. We are on the road to 70,000 subscribers. Also, make sure to follow me over on Instagram as well. I'll chuck my nope, there. I'm going to put it there. There's my Instagram if you want to have a quick sneak peek. I post loads over there on my story feature and also different adventures and journeys that I go on. So if you're interested in seeing a little bit more of me outside of FPL and outside of these YouTube videos, do make sure to follow me over on Instagram. Final reminder that the deadline for Game Week 33 is Tuesday. And then we've got the Saturday deadline for Game Week 34. So in the space of about 4 or 5 days, we're going to have 2 deadlines. But this is when we love FPL. Double game weeks, deadlines coming thick and fast. It's exactly what we want. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.